Hello everyone, I'm Professor Geek. Welcome back to my channel. Things look a little bit different. There's my pug. I was just about to say this is a very different setup and I have to deal with this DNC style handheld camera here, and I just realized I've got a dog here too. So this is my pug. This is Sammy. Samuel Johnson, actually, his full name. Anyway, the power's out at my house and I am over here at my sister's house. So that is why the whole setup is different, but I wanted to take a few moments to review Amazing, Fantastic, Incredible, A Marvelous Memoir, Stan Lee. And I've had this for a while. It was released in 2015, and I never got around to reading it. I bought it. Definitely was something I wanted to read, but it's set in my to-read pile. But of course, recently, with the passing of Stan Lee, it's definitely something that I wanted to pour through, and it was actually really nice reading it, especially recently with the horrible news of his passing and everything. It was a little bit it was a bit of a healing, and it was a nice read through. So this is an autobiographical graphic novel. It's co-written by Stan Lee and Peter David, art by Colleen Doran, and the art is amazing. Really cool art, definitely throughout. One of the cool things about the art is that going through the story, occasionally whenever it gets to a yeah, so like here, whenever it gets to a character that he created, the first cover of that comic is completely recreated in the style. So a Jack Kirby or Steve Ditko or whatever style, and she does a pretty good job of evoking that, which is nice. So that's pretty cool. This is the story of his life, right up to the point of 2015, basically. And it's told in memoir fashion. You really do feel like Stan Lee's right next to you talking. I like that aspect. It's overall, it's linear. I mean, you start when he was young and you end up at 2015. But there are lots of places for you going back and forth, and you know the way memory works, and he even calls attention to that in the book. So I like that aspect of it. I thought that's really cool. You do feel like you're sitting there with him, and he's just telling you a cool story, going through his military career there and some of the things he did there for venereal disease. Not me. Yeah, he's great. There's a great story about how he met Joan, his wife, and I love the, evoking the Mary Jane face it tiger kind of imagery there. And cool things I didn't realize though. So a lot of these anecdotes I'd heard before, but sometimes there's a little spin or something new added that I didn't know. Like I didn't know that apparently he'd been sketching Joan like all of his life, and then he meets her in real life. That's the Jungian anima, right at work there. That's a cool little piece of added info. Let's see. A couple of cool things here marked, of course. I didn't count on not having both hands as I was going through here. So I don't know how your boy Zach does it, but oh, this right here, I love this because he was good friends with Bob Kane. He'd talk about that a lot, and I love the fact that they nailed Bob Kane's personality. So they're at this restaurant, and then Bob Kane calls the waiter up, "Hey kid, you know who you've been waiting on every night? I'm Bob Kane, creator of Batman. Here, I'll draw you a sketch." That was so Bob Kane. Just introduced himself to everyone as, "Hi, Bob Kane, creator of Batman. Hi, Bob Kane, creator of Batman." I like the fact that he does give some writing advice in this graphic novel too, this memoir, which is really great. And he gives a bunch of cool little things, some tidbits, some major writing things that writers would do well to know. But this right here I love because this is something that I'm always fighting my students over. It says, whenever you're watching a movie or a TV show, don't just get caught up in the story. Try to analyze everything that's on the screen. Why did the writer add that bit of dialogue? Was it more dramatic for the hero to say nothing in that scene? Why was Act 3 longer than Act 2, and so on? Why so many long shots or close-ups? You should be able to learn something from every time you watch a film. Read something if you remember to analyze everything you see. This is what I try to beat into the heads of my students, and some of them get it, and some of them do quite well, but sometimes I'll analyze a movie, a popular film even. We'll watch The Avengers, for example, and I'll pull out all of this stuff, and you get that glazed look, and then that smirk, that says, it's just a movie. There's nothing, oh my gosh, stop reading so much into it, and just enjoy it. Okay, zombie. Okay, you stunted, ignorant person. I mean, it's just, seriously, it doesn't take, it's very easy to learn things. It's very easy to analyze films and gain a lot. So try to beat that into their heads as well, but it takes time. I love the fact that he talks about his hero work post-Marvel. So this is with PAL Comics, and I love the Stripperella, the old show on Spike TV. That was great, but apparently, it came from the comic. And he gives some examples of some other characters, which I need to look up. Gives some examples of a lot of his work post Marvel that I hadn't heard much about, like when he was going internationally here and developing heroes in different countries, which I really like because he's drawing on mythology from different nations and different cultures, which I think is really cool. So, and he talks about, of course, the difficult break into the movies that Marvel had, and the real break in was, of course, Spider-Man 2002, which, just a little shameless plug, we are going to rewatch. That was the winner of our poll. So one final thing to honor Stan Lee this week will be Saturday night on my channel, 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the rewatch and commentary of Spider-Man 2002, and this will be with me and Big Al, maybe Fan Man if he can make it. I don't know, we'll see, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. So really liked it. Liked all the little stories, some funny stories I hadn't heard, and I love the way it ends. And this isn't a spoiler; it's just a sweet little thing. But throughout, he keeps going back to his childhood self, and I love this ending about he and his childhood self walking off into the distance to go buy each other a milkshake or whatever, and talking about Joni, the wonderful dream woman he'll meet one day. And it's a sweet ending because that's the nature of a memoir, right? I mean, that's, going back to your younger self at all of these different stages and re-encountering yourself, and then giving your hindsight and your commentary as a much older person on those stages. And you have to be honest with yourself at those stages, and I think this graphic novel did a good job of that. He gives the credit where it's due. He talks about Jack Kirby, he talks about his brother and all of that, and he talks about some of the painful things that happened to his life. So you have to be honest with yourself and your life, but you also have to be kind. I think sometimes people tend to, they're wanting to be honest, they don't want to be biased about their life, that they end up going overboard and just talk about, they're just a little too brutal with themselves. Anyway, I like this. It's a great little graphic novel, and it's a great way to just remember Stan Lee right now if you're kind of feeling low like I am. He was just a brilliant icon. He's what Jordan Peterson would call a shaman in our culture, and I 100% agree with that. Just the writer who really creates these stories that resonate and live with us. And I'm glad to have found out more about his post Marvel work, because I want to look into a little bit more of that. That's something that I ended up doing with Darwin Cook as well after Darwin Cook passed, and realized, hey, I need to look into some of the stuff he was doing post superhero, and that was really quite good as well. So this is a recommend big time. Amazing, fantastic, incredible, a marvelous memoir, Stan Lee, and this is available anywhere. Published in 2015, so relatively current. I'm glad that it didn't include all of the drama that had happened recently. I am glad about that, because it's just so unfortunate. I'm sad that he passed away, but the thing I'm most sad about is how he was treated towards the end of his life, and it's nice to see so many fans outpouring love for him now in memory of him. But remembering Stan Lee and all of his greatness, and this is a great way to do it, should you want to pick this up. So that's this review, and say bye, Sammy. Sammy. No, he's an old boy. He's a little hard of hearing. There he goes. He's like a little slow on the uptake. But anyway, sorry for the very low quality video this time around. Again, just displaced at the moment at my sister's house. Hopefully the power will be back on tomorrow. I know it will be back on for the rewatch at least Saturday night. But hey, it's Professor Geek DNC style. I'm not going to apologize for my ankles or anything you see in the video, though. So, I should mention, too, I forgot that I do have a post office box now. So the P.O. box address is in the description below. A lot of people have been asking me if they could send me this or that title they really want me to review. And I would say, that's great, but I don't really give out my home address to anybody, So I set up the P.O. box. So I will have that in the description of each video, so that when people ask me if they can review X or Y or whatever, and they have an extra copy of this or whatever they really want to send me, so I can get it on the channel or whatever, that they can do that there. So that's in the description. Thanks for watching. Thanks for clicking like, subscribe, sharing the video. Don't forget the Patreon. Link is in the description as well for that. And until next time, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the hero stories you love. Thanks for watching.